Hello everyone, it's AP Beauregard Human, and I am going to use this video to tell you a little bit about how BEAU came into being. Some of you have been followers for a long time, some of you are relatively new, and but it occurred to me either way, like I've never really told the story of how BEAU came into existence, and it's kind of an impossible dream. It's like one of those dreams that you think about in the back of your mind, but you think, no way. So you just kind of put it out of your mind, but it really is something that you would like to have in your life, you know. So that's why I'm like, it's a kind of an impossible dream that is so far I guess possible. I don't know. I don't want to like poke the bear, but I'm living it right now, so maybe it is possible. So I'm gonna get my reading glasses on because I did write the information down because I didn't want to forget anything. So yeah, basically I wanted to share BEAU's story. And he's had a social media account for about 3 years on Instagram. Not sure about this YouTube one. So he's actually been in social media a long time for me to have not shared this story. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And again, forgive me if I mess up or anything because I've never really done a video like this before. So it's totally raw, really, and you get what you get with it, I guess. So I will now begin. My dream began in 2016. It was like the late winter, and I was looking at an Arabian magazine, one of those Arabian magazines that came from the association. And in the back, they would have like sale ads or like Stallion ads. So I was flipping through, and I wasn't even thinking about breeding my mare. I was like, I wasn't. One day I wanted to, but I was just like, nah, because I never had the money to do it, and I never found the stallion I wanted to breed her to. So this fateful day, the winter, about 2016, like late winter, I was scrolling through the back of that Arabian magazine, and all of a sudden I saw the most beautiful horse. It turned out to be Don DeMarco, half-brother of Doneral. I knew nothing about the bloodlines then. I just saw Oldenburg, beautiful horse, and I had the feeling that I have gotten that has served me so well throughout time that said, you need to do this. This is the horse. This is the horse you need to breed your mare to. You've got to find any way you possibly can to breed your mare to this horse. End of story. Do it. And I'm like, I'm broke though. How am I going to do that? There's where the impossible part starts. Like, no money, can't do it. So it's like, so of course I called my parents and I'm like, Mom and Dad, I have an impossible dream. I need your help. No, I was like, please, this is perfect. This is great. It's all gonna work out. It's gonna be wonderful. Please. I'm like groveling and begging. I'm like, you have to help me with this, please. So I look crazy because I felt crazy. I was crazy. I was like, this has to get done. I've got to breed my mare to this horse. So like after like what seemed like eons, it could have been like months, they like agreed. They're like, all right, we will help you try to breed your mare. I'm like, thank you. So yeah, I found a vet at Peterson and Smith in Ocala, Dr. Kadena, and he was fantastic. We began April 2006 to try to get my full Arabian mare, Meg, pregnant by Don DeMarco. We tried all summer and she wouldn't take. I must have tried 4 or 5 times. Would not take. And it was really hard and it was really stressful. And my parents were getting angry at me. They're like, we're throwing money away. And I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, this is awful. So my parents are just like, they pulled the plug. No more. That's it. No more. So by fall, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And all winter, I was like, no, winter 2017, spring 2017 comes. And I'm like, I still feel like I really need to do this. Like something special is going to happen. So I begged my parents again. I'm like, please, please, just like one more shot. Okay, no, 2 more shots. 2 more shots. Just give me two more shots. Then we'll call it quits. Then we'll know this isn't meant to happen. Okay. They said okay. I'm like, so Dr. Kadena came back out from Peterson and Smith in May. We tried to get her pregnant. She was inseminated with AI again, Don DeMarco. She ended up ovulating after the first dose because they come in 2 doses. But so she didn't need that second dose, just that first one. And then there was the waiting game. Like there was always a waiting game. But this waiting game felt like much worse because you knew that the stakes were higher. This was the first of 2 shots I was going to get. So I just prayed and I hoped and I prayed and I hoped and I prayed. And then a couple weeks went by and she was pregnant. Sorry, that was my dog. No Winston. She was pregnant. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. Like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope she'll hold on to it. Please hold on to it. Please hold on to it. A million things can happen. So I stuck her on vitamins. I stuck her, like, I think I had her on a Triple Crown feed. I put her on that. I made sure every vet appointment, she did not miss any of those. She had all of them, and she was in full for everyone. And then Irma came. The fall of 2017, and I had to evacuate. I don't have a horse trailer. I didn't then either. I had to trust the boarding barn she was at to take care of her and my gelding while I was gone. And I would have left, but I had health issues that were even worse than they are right now, and I could not have stayed through that. So I went to my parents up north, and the barn did take care of my horses. They were fine. I got the text that they were fine after Irma hit, and I was so thankful. But when I got back from Irma, I found my horses thin, and my pregnant mare, had a big, giant bump on the side of her neck no one had told me about. So I pulled both of my horses, my mare and gelding, from that barn, and I went to another barn. So that other barn is where Meg ended up giving birth. The vet biopsied the bump in her neck, and it turned out it was just scar tissue, which was good. Meg had well, I'll go back. I wanted a filly. I was like, I wanted a filly. I could rebreed. If I got a colt, I'm thinking I'm going to sell the colt, or I'm going to geld it, because I can't have a stallion. I mean, stallions cost a lot. Nobody wants to board a stallion, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, filly. I'm praying for filly. Filly, you want a filly. So she gave birth. I saw it was a colt. And I was like, okay, the mare's fine. The colt's fine. Everything went fine. But it's not a filly. It's a colt. And I'm thinking, oh, no, I have to geld this colt or sell it and then rebreed for a new filly, or like, what am I going to do? And then people started saying, you should keep this a stallion. You should not geld this horse of yours. He is something special. And I'm like, how am I going to do that though? Again, impossible dream. How am I going to do that? Like with no money, no finances, nothing, with just like a hope and a prayer. How? And I thought, okay, I'll do the genetic tests. All genetic tests were fine. He was homozygous black. He was free of all Arabian genetic diseases, all warm blood genetic diseases. He was perfect. He got high point at his inspection. He was, from what I read in the magazine, the Oldenburg magazine, he even was like the top colt of all his sire's colts for 2018, which was the year he was born. I'm like, this is a special colt. I mean, I have to try to keep him a stallion. And so I did. I did, and now he's 3.5 years old, and I have a stallion prospect in training, and still no money, and somehow I'm making the impossible dream possible. So I'm hoping I can keep doing that, but I mean, I guess there's also kind of a nice moral to this story. Like, you know, sometimes you just got to try things, and sometimes when things, they don't seem possible, and they aren't even things that you planned for or expected, but that there may be a way to do it. You know, like if you surround yourself with the right people who believe in your dream, and believe in what you're doing as much as you do, there may just be a way to do the impossible dream. And everybody's impossible dream is a different dream. So it doesn't even have to be owning a stallion or having a stallion. It could just be, you know, something else. So, you know, think about your impossible dream, and maybe there's a way, you know. Maybe there's a way for all of us, really, if we just like try. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a stallion. I've worked with stallions, never had one, and I've got one, and my journey will continue, I guess, on. So anyway, that's the story. I had to go quicker with it than I wanted to for time. I guess 15 minutes isn't actually a very long time for this story. But I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try to answer them. And I hope this story made sense and that you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you to all his followers that have been so supportive. And sometimes have really picked me up when things have been really hard, because sometimes I've been like, oh, why? And like somebody will say something and it's just like one of his followers will say something and it's like, yeah. And it really makes me feel better, and it makes everything all worth it. So thank you.